right, so today we got something called Music Major Preview Day, which is we get, some high schoolers to come in and like watch us rehearse and stuff like that. So that should be kind of cool. Some bad news, at least for me, probably nobody else cares, but I have a pimple on my top lip right where my mouthpiece rests, which I assume most of you are brass players and you've potentially dealt with that at least once or twice before, and you guys know that that's never a good thing. Now, I've tried to do as much as I can to prevent it from being an actual issue. I washed my face last night and then put this acne stuff that I have that helps prevent it getting worse and helps, like, if it's like just forming, it can normally make it go away. And this morning I noticed it was kind of still there and I was like, oh god. So I washed my face again this morning and then put the stuff on it again. I know that that's not going to have as much effect as like sleeping and having it on. So I'm just sitting here praying that I can get my lips to properly vibrate today and not like feel awful in the mouthpiece, which it's not looking good. Normally when I have this problem, it's like, hey man, you're not playing today. It's kind of one of those things for me. It kind of gets me worse than some other people for some reason, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try really hard this morning. I'm probably gonna warm up now, actually, in a second. Try really hard this morning to just find how easily I can make things, so I'm not using unnecessary pressure, making the little pimple a bigger issue than it needs to be. I'm going around this parking deck and there's literally like no spots, but there's one over here. So yeah, I remember at the beginning of this rehearsal, or no, the beginning of this semester, sorry, I found a way to play up to high C with genuinely zero strain at one point. Like zero, like I'm not even like exaggerating. All right, so it seems like the cards are starting to stack against me today. I also forgot my, the thing that I put my phone on to like record. And I looked in the mirror up close, and it's a bit worse than I thought it was. But, we still have a job to do. Can't make excuses because, it's not anybody else's problem that, this might not work today. So we're gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna kind of talk through what I'm thinking about and hopefully find a solution. So the thing I was talking about earlier that I figured out, it was when I was preparing for auditions here. I think it was brass band, so I figured out on cornet, and believe it or not, it was with a deeper mouthpiece than this. So in theory, I should be able to figure it out again. But it wasn't really something I was doing physically. It was more like things that I wasn't doing physically. So instead of like literally to play it with less effort, like above high G, it was just a matter of not putting in the effort. And it relates to this thing that my teacher taught me, which I'll get into once I start getting warmed up. So I've buzzed for approximately 5 seconds, and already it's I can tell it's pretty irritated. So that's gonna make the fundamentals and like the approach 10 times more important when you're having a day where it's like, uh-oh, things are not gonna work how they normally do. So I'm really trying to change as little as possible the siren and kind of make it as if I'm literally going, oh, and commit to doing nothing else, which is pretty hard mentally to kind of try and break bad habits and just be like, no, I'm just going to put it up to my face and go, oh. And it's like, the result will tell you if you actually committed. Because if you're doing like this in-between thing, it'll be like, ew. And I'm kind of doing that right now, so I'm just really gonna focus. Oh, and then do that again. And hopefully, if you're really getting it, it's just coming from like you're singing from the chest and from the diaphragm, kind of. Oh, and part of my goal here is to make what I'm doing feel like I'm just having a conversation. Like just talking is actually helping because it's like, oh, that's all I'm really doing here. Toe 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 toe, toe 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 toe. And not trying to overcomplicate it and just making it as easy as talking. And what I was talking about earlier is basically if you're playing an open note like low C, middle G, middle C, and stuff like that, you're already sort of playing the notes below that. So I'm going to change absolutely nothing and we're going to see what happens. Okay, it was a little closed off because I didn't allow it to relax. And I'm not really changing, and it's not the best sound quite yet, but I'm really not changing anything besides like letting my fingers move. And on the opposite side, if you're playing the note after that chromatically, oh, play that note really good. Oh. And then the next notes that lead up to the next open partial is nothing. You just go, oh. And the notes will just come out. And this is how I found that thing back then. And for some reason I haven't been focusing on that lately, but that I'm telling you that one day that was the best I've ever played in my life. It was like literally me playing a middle G was everything, basically. And yeah, I was probably having a good chop day. Of course I probably was. But I also, that day, I committed so fully to that. That was the only day in my whole life that I've committed that hard to just like, I'm not going to do any more than exactly what's necessary to play the note. And part of what got me there was physically, like, literally I walked to the bathroom during this practice session and I was like, oh my god, like what is going on today? Like it's so easy. And I walked to the bathroom and I was like physically like almost like not like slouched over, but I was so relaxed it felt like I was using no effort to do anything, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just like, how easy can I make even just like now, of course, I'm still getting a response going for the day. But just like, oh. It's like there's no tension like anywhere. And I'm gonna make you guys keep me accountable to like try and find something like that every day I like record something like this. Cause, oh man, if you can get that going, it's just like, oh, your life is so much easier. Enough talk. I can feel just a little bit of trying to change there. Oh. And of course, something will change, but if you tell yourself nothing changes, then a lot less will change. So it's like I'm telling myself I'm just playing a C sharp there. Like I'm almost going to trick myself here. And then if you're really playing that middle partial as easily as playing like the low C sharp there, then the A flat leads to the C, and the A flat's going to be easier because you're playing the G so easy. It's like you're playing a C sharp, if that makes sense. And then the A flat goes to the C with no effort, and the C goes to the C sharp with barely any effort, C sharp to E, and it just goes up. So if you commit to it on each step, like obviously I need to figure it out today, but I'm just saying like, oh man, if you get it, it's like this is the easiest instrument ever. Oh. And what I really like about this approach is that, yes, it's always helpful to say, oh, you're trying too hard, like just use less effort type thing. But having this, it's like, no, I'm specifically trying to use the amount of effort that I'm playing this low C sharp to play this middle G. So it's like, I can kind of visualize it and almost put the fingers down and act like I'm about to play it. Oh. And then just like let the G come out. And you can kind of do like really simple things of just like oh, and it's like I'm just gonna keep singing that note. And you realize the part where the change theoretically would happen, you know, C to C sharp, for example, you're doing nothing because you're already using such little effort. The lips are just happy to flap for you type thing. And you'll notice habits start to come back as soon as you start getting into like a certain range. So you have to come back down and be really patient about it. But if you can just fully commit to believing that it's true, that you're only playing a low C sharp to play a G, you're only playing an A flat to play a C, C sharp to play an E, F to play, you know, a G. Oh my gosh, it makes your life so much easier. So I think that I'm gonna start my days with this more often, and I think that the pimple was a good reminder that, hey man, you don't want to be like pressing the mouthpiece in and like doing all these things to, you know, play like above a high G. So it's just not fun to play that way. Now I'm gonna try and incorporate this into like a super easy melody. Do, 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 do. But I'm gonna convince myself genuinely that the G, now I know that this is easy register, but if you're doing it here, you have to do it here, you know, down here to be able to do it up here. I'm gonna convince myself genuinely that the G is just a C sharp. So it's literally just gonna be. Okay, now I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna press here. I'm gonna press to the side. Again. Like I'm literally now I know that this isn't necessarily the best for your ear training. This is more of like a how much effort do you need to use? Because like ear wise throughout the day, you really should be thinking do 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 do. So I'm not saying to always think this weird stuff like if you're in your rehearsal, but like just starting my day, like it's helping. Like literally, I'm playing a C sharp there. And you know, once you get that feeling, then you know, sing the line in your head, and just like remember, the effort is the same kind of as what I'm singing. Do 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 do. But you really do have to convince your like. I notice like if I kind of just go do 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 do, like you really have to convince yourself you're about to play the note again. And you're like, oh, it just shot out. I'm literally gonna do this twice. Yeah, and it, like when you really do convince yourself, it's like maybe this does actually work. So, and then technically the high A flat would technically go to the B flat because the next open note would be B flat. But I like to tell myself it goes, like, if you're playing a high flat, you're playing a C. Because, like, if you really do the chromatic and, like, oh, and, like, convince yourself, it can work. It just, like, takes a little bit more, like, more discipline. So technically, the B flat, if you're playing the B, then you're playing a high C, basically just the fingering. But if you tell yourself it's the A flat, you know, in theory, it'll make your life a bit easier. So since I have a brass band rehearsal coming up, like, in the next 30 minutes, I've kind of got two options. I could either, like, hammer away and, like, just try and make things work really hard, or I can just try and, like, solidify the approach that I've been trying to do this morning. And both are kind of valid options because I have a lot of playing in brass band today. It's not a long rehearsal, it's only 50 minutes. But since we have guests watching us, my director is going to have us play through, like, this really long piece, and then we're going to play through this really impossible piece that we're not super prepared for yet, but, you know, that's why we're doing it. So I think I'm just going to opt to just, like, take it sort of easy and just, like, all right, everything I'm playing this morning is going to be easy, because I don't want to leave today with this being, like, an injury, if that makes sense. Because it doesn't feel good to play right now. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, and it's not necessarily important to anybody else that it doesn't feel good for me to play. Because I still have to play. And it still has to sound good. So, yeah, I'm just going to do more of what I've been doing for another 10 minutes. And just, like, make sure that this is what I'm doing today type of thing. And then in rehearsal, maybe I'll show, like, us tuning, maybe, and then maybe, like, a hymn tune, but I'm not allowed to show, like, the pieces that we're playing or anything like that. So yeah, I'll probably see you guys there, and then after that, maybe I don't know if I'm gonna practice again today, because, you know, maybe I'll show some, like, practice off of the horn so that I'm not hurting my, you know, my face. And then I have symphony orchestra as well today, so that'll be fun, and I'll see you guys there. Please don't be. Okay. Oh my God.
So 11 hours before we come in? Oh. Wait, 11 before. After. Go.
Just say it's piano. Ignore, you know, Montague and Kevin. It keeps coming back. Yeah. 1, 10, 2, 10. Where's the accentuation?
1.
1. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. I know what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect with bassoons. And that's a very good cause, except for we come down so much.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Do re. Do re.
I want you to feel like, you know, fill out. I know
lost a good half of my symphony orchestra recording because iPhone storage full, which is always great. But it's okay. You didn't miss out on much. We just kind of did the same thing over and over. Brass band, I decided not to show anything just because even if only 10 people watch this video, I don't want to get in trouble. So, not going to show that for now. But yeah, it was pretty rough in brass band today. I was like, oh my god, it hurts so bad. So, somebody was like, why don't you take some of this? And I put it on my lip, and what it did was it completely made my lip numb. So that I wouldn't feel the pain while I was playing, and it was the first time I've ever done it. And it was quite the experience. It felt like my lip, like imagine putting your mouthpiece up to your face, but your lip is like this big instead of like as big as it actually is. It felt huge. So at first I was like, oh my god, I literally have no idea how to make a sound right now. And there was a few moments in our like little mini performance where I was like, I don't know how to do this, but I wasn't in pain, so that was nice. Right now, having the horn on my face is unfortunately going to be counterproductive. It happens sometimes, and you just kind of gotta go with it. It is annoying, but there's really nothing I can do about it. So I'm gonna go to the gym. I'll show a bit of that just because I don't have much else to show today. I might practice a bit just like without my trumpet so that, you know, you guys can see like ways to practice, you know, that doesn't involve metal on the face, which can absolutely be productive. It's a little bit harder to be productive because you're worried about, oh no, you know, am I going to be able to play this well? Well, it's like you can still learn things and like get better without busting your chops. So I might show some of that today, but going to the gym soon. I'm going to go get dressed. We got push day in the gym today, so probably going to do incline Smith machine press, and then same on the Smith machine, we're going to do some shoulders, and then probably some cable flies, and then rear delts on the cable machine, because I like to do, I know most of you don't even really know gym talk very much, some people do, but I like to do my rear delts on my push day instead of my pull day, not because it's a push muscle necessarily, but just to like balance out my shoulder work better. And then I'll do some lateral raises for the side delts and some triceps. So should be fun. Not what I was really planning on doing video wise for today, but might as well throw something in there. One of the big things I'm learning in college is not to associate my self-worth with my ability to play the trumpet in a given day. And it's really an ego thing. It's like if your whole day is messed up because you're not quite getting the right sound, which has happened to me before, that's your ego that's getting in your way. And that's really something that I'm trying to get better at. It's a process though. Like ego is like your biggest enemy, to be honest. And trumpet players specifically, for whatever reason, you know, it's something we struggle with a bit. We got all of us have some slight personality issues. Not saying we're bad people, but you know, a lot of the time we get in our own heads really bad, and it can be somewhat detrimental. So something to figure out. But yeah, even if I can't play today, there's ways to get better at trumpet and just as a human. So not gonna let it ruin my day. And now I have a little bit of extra frustration to get out, doing some incline press, so that should be fun. I'm kind of curious if anybody watching this, or just like my shorts or something like that, like how many people actually go to the gym / work out. Actually, you know what? Today, the day before this goes up, today I'm probably gonna do like a poll. I love the YouTube polls. I just started. I've only done a few so far, but I'm like, this is like so interactive and like cool just to like, I don't know, see like the opinion of the people who watch you. So I'm gonna do a poll today, and it's gonna be like, do you exercise, or as a musician, do you work out, yes or no, or something like that. If I had to guess, it would be like 15% of people would put yes. Well, I could see a lot of people, or not a lot of people, I could see some people being like, oh, I've worked out before, and pressing yes, just because they don't want to press no. But, you know, gotta take people by their word sometimes. Anyways, I'm gonna go get dressed, and I guess I'll see you guys in the gym. Oh, I genuinely thought that my AirPods would record me talking and you could hear my audio, but I guess I was completely wrong. So I'm just gonna do a voiceover. So I'm doing some incline bench on the Smith machine, not going too heavy or anything. And I'm really just trying to focus on like challenging my chest and getting like a stretch at the bottom, and kind of not trying to rush anything, and just trying to make like squeeze my chest at the top and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to just like, oh, I just want to get this many reps. It's more like, I want to challenge my muscle this much, if that makes any sense. And today I'm only going to be doing 2 sets of everything when I would normally do 3, because I have to be somewhere right after this. So this isn't going to take super long or anything. So right here I'm starting to rush on the way down, which is something that I'm going to at least try and fix on the next set, because you don't really want to like let the weight drop on you, if that makes sense. You want to control it to get like the most amount of like, I don't know, gains from it, I guess. So now I'm doing a lot of stalling here, which means I probably did something right in the first set, because now my chest is already on fire and about to explode. So I don't really want to start this set, but that doesn't really matter, so. So yeah, I'm trying to control it better on these last reps here, but you know, it's making me fatigue a little bit harder at the end here, so I actually have to drop the weight early, so I failed that last rep there. Which I actually kind of see as a positive thing, because it means I like really went, you know, I went hard and I went to pretty much failure there, so that's not a bad thing. Alright, so next we got shoulder press on the Smith, and I'm pretty much doing a lot of the same ideas here, so we're just going to speed it up a bit. Trying not to use too much of my legs to help me. I want all of it to be on my shoulders. I'll show the actual speed for this one, and I say it's all on the shoulders, which I'm trying to do, but if you look closely, when I'm at the bottom, I like arch my back a bit, and almost, I don't feel it in the upper chest, but it almost looks like I'm starting to get the upper chest involved, which is definitely form-wise and technique-wise something to try and get a bit better at, because that's not it's not what I'm trying to do in the exercise. It should pretty much be on the delts, front delts mostly, so that's something to work out now that I'm watching this back. Next we got some chest flies. My camera angle is completely messed up here, so I'm pretty much just gonna skip showing this set and go to the second set. I'm trying to do kind of a thing where I rock forward a bit when my arms come back, and then back into it a bit when, you know, I bring my arms forward, and trying to avoid doing kind of the bear hug sort of thing, and just getting my elbows to go straight, and really getting my chest involved more than just like you know, starting to get the shoulders and stuff, which is kind of difficult. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here, and it's a bit different from what a lot of people do. But this is how I do it. So. So being that I'm on a time crunch and there's not that many people at the gym today, I'm kind of hogging this machine for my entire workout, which I normally would not do, but here we are. So I'm doing some lateral raises with the cable machine to speed things up. Normally I would do 3 sets on the dumbbells, or I would do 1 arm on this at a time, because it doesn't really work that well like this, but I'm trying to make it work, and it turns out that I went too heavy, so. So this is not what I would normally do, but my friend Logan, who you saw a second ago, came up to me and was like, I bet you can't do 8 muscle ups. And for context, I did my first ever muscle up about a month ago. So he's like, I bet you can't do 8. And I was like, oh, but now I have to try. And he's like, exactly. And I was like, okay, whatever. So this is me trying to do 8 muscle ups, and obviously I'm doing a lot of swinging. I'm not very good at these. My technique is not pretty.
4 more.
But I'm trying my best. So yeah, it's kind of hard for me to watch this just because, you know, it doesn't look very good, but I am giving it my best effort. So hopefully that counts for something, and at least I'm getting up there. But
Come on.
yeah, so this is me doing some muscle ups.
1 more. 1 more. Come on. Come on.
So today I found out that I'm the master of poor camera angles, but this is a tricep push down with the rope, one of my favorite tricep exercises, and it's basically just really trying to not move my elbows and keep my shoulders down. That's kind of the hardest part of doing this, but if you can do it, then you're doing it better than 90% of people, because it's really hard. You just got to keep it stable and then kind of let all of it be on your triceps, if that makes sense. So hopefully the second camera angle looks a little bit better and you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. But yeah. So again, I really like doing 3 sets for everything, but for some reason today, everything was already exhausted after like a set. So like I'm already feeling it right here. To be fair, my triceps are always like easily killed. It takes 1 good set and I'm fried for the entire day. But you know, 1 set isn't quite enough to stimulate muscle growth, I wouldn't say. So for some reason I thought I would recover faster if I put my arm against cold metal, and you know, in my heart it kind of did work, but I probably didn't. And Logan, for whatever reason, also believed that it would because I was doing it, and you know, we're better for it. I felt better after, so I don't know if I actually recovered any faster, but now I'm doing some kind of, it's like low to high triceps. I don't know what it's called. I would normally prefer to do 1 arm at a time because I feel that I'm not moving, like you can see my elbows are moving around a lot, and I like to keep them still so that it's just tricep and I'm not using other muscles. But here I'm just doing 2 arms for time's sake, and I think it works pretty effectively. But yeah, this is the last thing I'm going to show. Sorry I couldn't really practice today, it just wasn't in the cards, but hopefully you guys enjoyed, and maybe the gym content helped a couple people out, so you guys have a good one.